It's ThatUmbrellaGuy.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
One thing to rule them all, one thing to bind them. Platinum grill lifestyle, you know where to find him. Rolling up, I'm feeling fly, yeah, I'm so damn fresh. Got that platinum grill, bringing in the chest. Diamonds in my mouth, shining when I speak. That umbrella guy, flossing speaking geek. Ice on my teeth, I'm dripping so hard. Platinum grills, I'm the king of the boulevard. Throwing money in the club, making haters mad. I'm the baddest in the game, no one gets a pass. Ooh yeah. Crushing all these lines, yeah, I feel fly. Rolling on the dubs, that umbrella guy. Iced out pro on the boulevard. You ain't a comic gangster, don't be playing hard. Ice on my teeth, I'm flying so high. Dropping the bass, that umbrella guy. One grill to rule them all, one grill to bind them. Baby, I'm so iced out, gonna blind them. Rolling in town, I'm an army of one. Doing verbal walk-bys, blazing like the sun. Riding in my whip, crushing false accusers. Dropping off the bass on the real abusers. Yeah. Living life fast, no time for the slow. Justice on my mind, stacking up on my flow. Life in the fast lane, no time to blink. Ice on my teeth, watch it when I speak. Chillin' on my rhymes, never missing a beat. Ice on my teeth, yeah, I'm living that sweet. That umbrella guy, bringing the platinum heat. Crushing every hater, no time for defeat. Ooh yeah.
Ooh yeah, indeed. What's up, folks? Welcome to a new week. I know it's technically a new week yesterday, but it's not really a weekday until you start a workday, right? So welcome to another week, and welcome to yet some more fascinating crazy. I mean, today has been interesting. I got to watch Megan Fox absolutely decimate a certain tramp stamp lawyer. I got to watch Taylor Lorenz over the last few days have a freak out. I actually had to check in and make sure. So Ari Davis, you know, that famously sued Taylor Lorenz after Taylor Lorenz tried to destroy her life. Her Twitter went the way of the dodo bird, and I was like, what the hell happened? So I had to make sure that she didn't get hit for talking about this or something, you know, because it's wild. It's actually kind of fascinating because on the surface, it doesn't seem like as much of a meltdown as it really is, but it's absolutely crazy the way this goes. So I'm going to show that to you. There's some more Diddy front stuff. There's all kinds of crap today. There's so much crap. I've been opening tabs today, trying to keep up with it. Ugh, so much. By the way, what's up, Fallen Hero? Always good to see you. Thank you for the gifted membership, too. Thank you, buddy. Let's get this on the road. I want to show you. So, somebody decided to have a little fun at Taylor Lorenz's expense. They decided that they would start a rumor. A rumor that, well, since Taylor Lorenz is a listening believer, by the way, and tells me to believe so much fucking nonsense in the world, I'm just going to believe this too, right? Because it makes it fun. Taylor Lorenz and Elon Musk. Now, this should be something that doesn't even get acknowledged, right? I mean, oh my God, Taylor Lorenz and Elon Musk, like totally, you know, I mean, you wouldn't, I mean, come on. You know that that's not real, you know, but Taylor Lorenz couldn't help but comment on it. And in fact, Taylor Lorenz hasn't stopped commenting on it. Taylor Lorenz has gone in over the last few days and has dropped dozens and dozens of comments, like hasn't slowed down at all. I mean, it is a meltdown over it. And really, when you start looking her up, and so I did a search for this video, which I'm going to play you in just a second, but these other results came in, and it shows you why the meltdown actually transpires. It's because when you search like a TikTok for Elon Musk, Taylor Lorenz, Taylor Lorenz talks about Elon all the fucking time, man. I mean, she is girl jonesing on him. She's like, I mean, and during it all, she's like, he's obsessed with me. I mean, he's obsessed. And what's really funny is during all of this, too, you know, while she's obsessed, Musk is like, I don't even know who that is. Which he does. He's actually, well, I mean, he may not remember who she is, but it's kind of funny because, you know, you had all of what I'm going to, well, you had a clip of what I'm going to show you in just a second emerge. Libs of TikTok posted it was like, Taylor Lorenz says Elon Musk goes out of his way to F with her and interfere with her life. Literally, what? And Musk is like, never heard of her. So she's sitting around writing like dozens of hit pieces on him. Her biggest call to fame was the day that Elon Musk banned her from Twitter because she had doxed. So she got like a slap on the wrist timeout, which honestly, Elon, I'm going to say, if you're not going to do anything, then don't fucking do anything. Come on, man. That's so lame. That always annoyed me. One of his pets got hit, though, so he had to make some show of it. But it's still funny. I love that. But, like I said, she has just lost her mind about this. She has apparently been all over TikTok. And I was going to pull up Ari Jacobs' stuff for this today and show you all of the comments because she did a very good job of cataloging all of the comments in the aftermath. But unfortunately, Ari Jacobs is ghosted for the moment. Now, it is not a ban or something like that. I had, like I said, I wanted to make sure that that was the case. It's none of my business why else it would be about, just to be honest. It's just not about, getting hit for this. I just wanted to make sure, because Taylor Lorenz obsesses about R.E. Jacobs, too. Again, Taylor Lorenz tried to destroy R.E. Jacobs' life. Just being real about it. There's some really good videos on that. She's done some really good interviews. But, essentially what it boiled down to was Lorenz putting together... There's hit pieces, and then there's what I would call hate pieces or hurt pieces. You can call them either thing. I like to call them interchangeable. A hit piece is something that is meant to defame and perhaps do damage, but a hurt piece is meant to destroy you. It's a hate piece. It is there to wreck you. And R.E. Jacobs got one of those. And I thought after R.E. Jacobs' account disappeared that maybe that was it. So anyway, let's play this. I think it's funny because this is Lorenz actually responding. And like I said, this has just been comical to watch over the last few days. Oh, I love it. I love watching Lorenz have a meltdown. This is somebody... This is like what? She's what, a 50-year-old teenager? Again, I am old enough to be like, get off my lawn and everything. So I'm not even trying to flex and pretend like I'm a teenager or anything. But I don't totally, oh, Elon Musk is totally ruining my life. It's like so bad. Can you give me a mochaccino cafe latte, extra foam? I'm just gonna make up some shit after that. That's about as far as I can go. 3 shots of pumpkin. Hold the brain cells. I don't know. Anyway, check this out. Well, if it ever.
I have been waiting to drop this Taylor Lorenz tea, but I didn't know if anyone would.
What? Okay, so if you haven't watched that girl's video, she basically claims that I had an affair with Elon Musk and I have some like ongoing relationship with Elon Musk. I've never even fucking met Elon Musk. Okay, I have reported on this man for years, very critically.
I've never met him. I just obsess over him all the time. Now she's gonna start making claims about how he's tried to destroy her life and stuff. And again, that would be like you being like, "Oh man, have you heard? That umbrella guy. He's in a relationship with," and just name somebody. I'd be like, "What the fuck?" I might laugh about it, but my God, again, it's not just the commentary on it. It's the fact that she's been commenting on this shit for days. So let's get it. God, I hate TikTok. Come on, TikTok.
Fucking hates me. He goes out of his way to fuck with me and interfere with my life. So no, I'm definitely not.
I'd like some proof, by the way, of that. How did Elon Musk go out of his way to fuck with Taylor Lorenz's life? Like, for real. Like, no joke. How did he do that? I mean, again, she got banned one time, and he called out an article that she posted once. But besides that, I don't really ever remember him, giving a shit about Taylor Lorenz. I mean, maybe my memory is a little fuzzy on that. I'm not chronicling all of Taylor Lorenz's life, so I'm not sure on that. Maybe you can point and address that. But, misbehaving, by the way, thanks for 2. Always a pleasure to hear your sexy voice. XOXO, indeed. Thank you. Appreciate that. And also, live according to Martin, thanks for the 2. I already did 2 hours the other day about Taylor. I'm going to have Ari on. I just need to one day. Ari's funny. She does these breakdowns on Twitter that are actually pretty good. They do not get the algo is sometimes nice. One of the reasons is if you're not a pet of the owner of Twitter, or you don't content farm, you cover stuff, but you don't content farm. You don't put out like a car wreck of somebody and be like, oh, who's in the wrong? Or, put out some just flagrant disinformation sometimes, lying about videos. Then, yeah, it's bots. There are a lot of them. And I don't make that claim lightly, by the way. I can look into my, the last 6 or 7 spam messages that I've had are the new bot types, that are still saved into my stuff. I'll post them later on just to show you. I mean, it's just so many bots on that platform. So if you're not favored in the algorithm, I've even tried. So as a test on Twitter to see the difference, Elon touted, the blue check mark thing. It's supposed to come with a plus ratio in the algorithm, and then there was a second tier of it that was created. So I decided I would check out the second tier, and I would do it for 3 months. That way you're not going to get any false positive. It didn't change anything at all. They just doubled the price, and you got nothing for it. So, it's because, all that traffic, they keep saying that Twitter is the fastest growing platform still because of this, that, or the other. No, it's because of the bots. Anyway. Let's get back to this. This might take half a second to start these videos.
Have I ever had an affair with Elon Musk? It seems like you're talking to this tech founder who it looks like has had some sort of psychotic break. I don't know if you've taken a look at his social media. I wrote about this tech founder's company a while ago because he was working with a bunch of female influencers to clone their voices. I highly encourage you to talk to those female influencers, specifically Karen. He's been accused of stalking and harassment. I've seen evidence of that. Please talk to these women involved before you listen to this man spout about how he's wrong. I mean, he might be wrongly imprisoned, but yeah, there's very credible concerns, and I wouldn't call that man a reliable source. Also, I don't know what that comment on the top of the video is about how I've like internalized misogyny or whatever. I'm a huge champion of
she's
women.
answered all these questions about just different things. She's being asked them. She's asked about Elon, then she's asked about another, then she's asked about her internalized misogyny. But I just want to play this. Like I said, I just want to play it just to show you how weird and off the wall this stuff is. And then I want to play the first 25 seconds and get off of it. Like I said, it's so bizarre. Like, again, Lorenz is desperate to build a platform again, too. I've noticed her doing more and more interviews on YouTube. And actually, what was fascinating is I saw some people that I was kind of surprised. You know, they were like, we should give Taylor Lorenz a chance. And I was like, fuck you say? That piece of shit basically did a hit piece on quite a few people, myself included. She did a hit piece on me that essentially blamed me for all of YouTube's ills. She was like, there's been all these terrible problems. All of these creators, they've had all of these issues before. And then the Depp case rolls around. And then everything, you know, and then she keeps naming more. But there's never a bad guy in there until she decides to just throw me in there. And essentially, I'm the only bad guy in the hit piece. So you have all these female creators complaining. She was trying to say that the Depp case somehow, I don't know. Her articles don't make any sense anyway half the time. But she was saying that somehow, even though there were problems before, the problem started with the Depp case. And thanks to Chris Boozy, we know who the problem is. And it's like, what? So fuck her, you know. No way. She can take her raggedy-ass opinions and she can check them down the road to the unemployment line. That's where she can go. The only place I'll respect her is when she's handing the bag through the drive-thru. That's the only fucking thing. I'll take it and I'll say, thank you, good day. You know? But as far as her opinions on world events and shit, hell to the no. I mean, again, this is the woman that decided, again, you can hate libs of TikTok. You can absolutely hate libs of TikTok. But she didn't just dox libs of TikTok. She went to the wrong woman's home with the same name. So she misidentified the woman at first. Went to her home. The woman wasn't there. She was out with her kids. So she went to this woman's, her mother, and told her about how she was part of January 6th, how she was, you know, a monster, just all these crazy freaking things. And she got the wrong woman. So, I mean, even if you were to, I wouldn't agree. I don't particularly care for Lorenz, even if she was straight reporting. But when she starts doxing and shit like that, and then to have all the mainstream media be like, it's okay because we don't like what that person says. You know, you may hate that person, like I said, but they're just posting other people's TikToks, you know, including Lorenz's these days. So anyway, let's finish these questions here. I think some of them are funny. Come on, you piece of garbage. I hate TikTok.
Like a big thing for me. So I don't know, but if I said something that was unintentionally misogynistic or something, definitely let me know. I have seen a lot of weird conspiracies about myself through the years. I saw one literally just this week of people saying that I'm like secretly signed to some talent agency or something. I don't have a talent agent. I'm a journalist, not talent. But
you talk about the funniest accidental own ever, by the way. I'm talent. No, wait, I'm not talent. I'm a journalist. I'm not talent. Oh, shit. Oh, it's good. She's also apologizing. You know what? If you come on here and you're like, that umbrella guy, you're such a misogynist, you know, I'd have an answer for you. I'd be like, Oh, whatever. You know, it's like, you've got to be kidding me. I cannot imagine being a woman and apologizing for misogyny. I can't imagine that. What a twisted, fucked up world people like Lorenz have birthed, you know? If I made a comment and it was misogynistic, it's like, what are you talking about, man? What a world where women have to apologize for misogyny. She's not talent. Oh, I love it. What's up? What's up, Magna Defender? Thanks for the 5. Lorenz is a diehard N95 supporter. She's still on that train even 4 years after the fact. She's as the top candidate for most out-of-touch journalist. Oh, man. You talk about, like, listening to some of her interviews. It's fascinating because she can't identify, she is part of the problem when it comes to mainstream media. So mainstream media is failing, and it's failing, it's falling apart real time. We're watching the collapse of it, and we're watching these rats flee that ship. And what they're doing is they're buying into these platforms like YouTube. They're not competing fairly with us. They're buying in. So if a topic comes up like Diddy, you may find people because the algorithm picks them up. But if you'll notice, anyone that's recommended from Go, they're always mainstream. It's because in the algorithm, they accidentally revealed this a few years ago. They were actually saying they were owning the trolls. It was about the first Captain Marvel movie and Brie Larson. They were saying, oh, well, because of Brie Larson and all the comments, and again, this is not about Brie Larson. I'm just making this point. Because of that, you had a YouTube spokesperson say, we came out and we put in the algorithm a trusted sources component. Now, what is a trusted source? A trusted source are people like Taylor Lorenz. So Taylor Lorenz gets top billing over people like you or me or whomever. We may do years of research on something, but one of these dipshits picks up a fucking microphone and starts talking. Again, they're not talent. They're a quote-unquote journalist. That says all you need to know. Again, what's she known for? Having breakdowns online. So anyway, let's continue. Let's finish this shit. I don't want to hear her voice anymore after this. Well, actually, I got to play the beginning again, so you just hear the thing that's being made fun of.
This one takes the cake. And speaking of misogyny, I hope you can recognize the sort of like misogynistic tropes of this sort of claim, that a female reporter is sleeping with the powerful tech, billionaire that she covers. Like women reporters especially are constantly accused of sleeping with their sources or sleeping with the men that they cover. It's never the case. So I'm not saying like you're misogynistic or something. I'm just saying like let's like acknowledge this type of rumor for what it is.
Look how scared she is, by the way, to actually say what she wants to say. Isn't that fascinating? Don't you ever find that fascinating? She dances that. She's like, well, let's look at the misogyny in this. Let's look at the trope to it. Let's look at the people there. Well, I'm not really claiming that you're a misogynist. It's like, for me, if I want to point the finger at something and I want to ridicule, I'm just going to. If I want to call it out, I won't wholesale or just lightly call something. If I called something a racist, if I called someone, I said that mofo over there is a racist. It wouldn't be a buzzword. It would just be matter of fact. That person hates people because of. If that person's a misogynist or a misandrist, that's because they hate people because of. I mean, it's simple. If you apply the label, fucking buck up, buttercup, and live with it. Oh, wait, that's a misogynistic trope too, isn't it? Anyway, God. Why does her 2 minutes and 30 seconds feel like an eternity, by the way? I have to take little breaks just so that voice doesn't grate into my brain. Come on, start.
Anyway, thank you for giving me a laugh. And sorry I didn't respond to your request for comment or something. I think you said you reached out to me. I didn't see that. I don't really check all my messages or mentions very much on social media. So
This
I
asshole,
somehow-
by
I
the way,
somehow missed-
this asshole did hits. Okay, so she did a hit piece on multiple people. And the way she does it is, if she sends out a letter at all, okay, she has lied about that and it blew up in her face. But if she does it, what she'll do is she'll send out something and be like, "Are you going to comment on this story? You have 5 hours to comment." And then you find out that this piece of shit doesn't even check their email. It's like, wait a minute. You have 5 hours before this message implodes, and we post the already written article that we've made. But, I mean, that's fascinating, isn't it? So the very people that weaponize those things, I mean, it's so telling. They'll speak for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and tell you so many fascinating things. You know, the rules for thee, but not for me. You know, it's fascinating. So the thing, though, that people have been making fun of is the beginning of this. And I mean, it has been everywhere. Give me a second here. I gotta pull this up. Because like I said, I've been laughing about it. And again, just to really state this fact, when her and Elon Musk, again, you see how many hits come up. When I search, I hate TikTok, okay? I get recommended dance videos all the time. I'm way too old for what it's trying to advertise. It's trying to, you know, be like, "Ooh, look at this pretty, like, girl here. Look at her, she's dancing around." I'm like, I'm too old to care about it. I don't give a fuck about that. You know, I mean, the internet's free. Come on, man. You know, like, I mean, what are we back to? Like bootlegging freaking, you know, old HBO or something. Be like, "Ooh, look at that." I mean, it doesn't appeal to me. If that's your thing, though, again, I'm sure there's a few interesting things, but they always pop up on YouTube. Like, I like a few of the casino folks, like Vegas Matt. I like watching him, but his stuff pops up on YouTube. And he has longer videos. Short form, if I watched every one of these videos, the reason I don't like short form, once you start watching short form, it's like falling in a hole. And I may ingest 9, 10, 30, 70 freaking videos at one time, you know, 8 to 15 seconds, and I don't remember anything I watched. I don't remember one thing. Like, if somebody brings it up later, I might be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that guy getting ran over by a truck," you know, or something. But I do remember, like, every now and then something will stick with me. You know, like right now there's a GoFundMe going on for the guy who decided to do a live stream with a firearm, and you know, he was showing off like how hard and tough he was, and he decided to put it to his head, and it was loaded. So his family is now having a GoFundMe. That stuck with me. Because on Twitter, you see the unredacted videos. It reminds me of live leaks. But as far as going down the TikTok hole, it's just a bunch of, like, dances and shit that I don't care about, like I said. But anyway, I'm ranting about TikTok. Apologies. You know, I get people around me like, "Hey, put up a couple." Because I put up 3 short form items. I was trying to see how I could edit during the DEP trial, and I've never done anything else with it. I'm like, why bother? You know, I don't want to. I'd rather make music and goof off. But anyway, if you look at all these, I mean, look at this. Taylor Lorenz and Elon. Taylor Lorenz takes down Elon. Elon Musk warning wait, is that Taylor Swift? I guess that's a Swift, isn't it? Oh, my bad. That's a Swift. My bad. So that's hilarious. I looked this Swift. I was like, wait a minute, that's Swift. Shit. Oh, God. Anyway, we get Taylor and Elon Musk. And the reason I noted this is because some of these tags, even Swift tags, are popping up here. And I didn't notice that they were tagged into Taylor Swift. So in order to get on newer videos, she doesn't just tag in Taylor Lorenz. She has Taylor Swift tagged into stuff. Check it out. You'll find some weird shit in that. And I didn't even realize that it was hitting on those videos for Taylor Swift too. But sure enough, but look at the obsession. So, the pettiest thing I've ever heard, that's about Elon, is forcing you to read his tweets. Why I was permanently suspended from Twitter? Oh, that's about Elon. Oh, look, here's another. Why Elon Musk banned her, what's being covered off of her channel. You know, other people covering, and she's been discussed there too. And then you have, Twitter is dead and becoming X.com because you got to talk about the Musk. Replying to someone else about it, I guess, and so on. I mean, again, you can see the headlines. I'll admit I'm not watching every one of these to see what the fuck they're about. I'm not going to watch them. I'll admit to you, I'm not watching that much Taylor Lorenz. I would rather eat paint chips. I would rather eat lead paint. Don't do that, kids. I'd rather take a TikTok challenge, Well, I always wonder what's the next one. Oh, would you like to eat this irradiated material? Oh, yeah, it's a TikTok challenge, sure. Oh, Lord. But this man is obsessed, or the man is obsessed, talking about Musk. I mean, who's obsessed here? The business genius has done it again. What happened to free speech? This piece of garbage wants to complain about fucking free speech. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's free until somebody comments on Listen and Believe, right? All these paint chip eaters, they freaking pop out of the woodworks. Oh, Lord. Oh, here's another one. Elon Musk is trying to get people to pay $1,000 a month for X. That is misinformation at its high point, by the way. Elon Musk is trying to get companies to pay. I think that's an insane amount of money, by the way. But Elon Musk actually offered a gold badge, which I've always found. I do think that's hypocritical. Because he said, the reason we have a badge is to make everyone equal. But then you have 3 levels of badges, so I guess we're not all equal. And you have governmental badges, and then some people are given back. Again, we're not all equal in that stance, but that's not true. The $1,000, you could pay for it if you wanted to. I think the quartering, I don't think he paid for it. I think he was running off of Rumble's check mark at one time, I believe. Again, somebody could set me straight on that because I can't exactly remember. And he did have a lot of stuff that ended up in trending. But then again, he covers current topics. So, I mean, I don't know if that really favors you or not. I don't really know what that does for you at $1,000 a month. But again, that's not getting quote unquote people to pay for it. That's out there for companies. No free speech if you criticize Twitter, says Elon Musk. Here's another. What features do you want Elon to bring? You're forcing Twitter users to pay, keep their blue check marks. Another, what happened to free speech? So there's 2 of them. Oh, here's another one, about Elon. I'm sensing a pattern with this man. And so on. You see my point here. So when we talk about that and we laugh about it, you can see why she has this meltdown. I mean, it's just, it's wild when people started searching her comments. And really, the meltdown isn't about what's there. Her stance has been that Musk, he's trying to ruin her. He stalks her, essentially. And it's bizarre. So let me pull this up here. Give me a second. People have been making fun of it, too, a lot. I mean, a lot. And I have to say I've enjoyed watching people make fun of it, too. Here it is. I like the cutting of this, too. Because the way it starts, it sounds like she's admitting to having an affair with Elon Musk. Give me a second. I've got it here. There it is. I was trying to full screen it. All right, so check this out. This is the part, like, the meltdown has been over. Just with the 25 seconds, this has been trending. I mean, Taylor Lorenz trends for all the wrong reasons. And this is what's trending out of that whole commentary, this.
So she basically claims that I had an affair with Elon Musk and I have some like ongoing relationship with Elon Musk.
So the clips people have been making, they've been cutting off the beginning and they've been starting it at you know. So you can imagine some of the clips that have been going around.
I had an affair with Elon Musk, and
it sounds just like that. I had an affair with Elon Musk, which again she's been throwing a fit about too.
Have some like ongoing relationship with Elon Musk. I've never even fucking met Elon Musk. Okay, I have reported on this man for years, very critically. He fucking hates me. He goes out of his way to fuck with me and like
her body language is so odd. Like, look at it. It's almost like she's uncomfortable and flirting with Musk. Like, watch her body language this whole time. I turned off the look at it. It's like, oh, Elon. Oh, I'm glad to meet you. Oh, yeah, little hair flippy Elon. Hey, giggle, giggle. Totally, Elon. Can we go back to the Starbucks and you buy me one of Frappuccino latte with extra foam? I mean, anyway, sorry.
Relationship,
but her whole idea that he's stalking her is so bizarre.
I've never even fucking.
I mean, again, I've never met him.
I have reported on this man.
I reported on
years, very critically. He fucking hates me. He goes out of his way to fuck with me and like interfere with my life. So
he's interfering with her life. Again, the claim isn't that he interferes with her Twitter. The claim isn't that he's banned her on social media or that he's, done or that he's countered any narrative. It's that he has gone out of his way to go after her. And again, the only thing that I remember that was actionable, you had, I don't know if you all remember all the stuff that came up with the airplane, the tracker, where Elon Musk, his flights were being tracked. And again, that was controversial, apparently. He ended up banning the thing that was tracking him. The media, any of them that brought all of that up and linked to it, he ended up banning articles and links. And then there was a discussion that came out of that where libs of TikTok, this was early on, discussed how she had been doxxed by Taylor Lorenz. So Elon was like, oh, that's actionable, and banned her. And the ban took like, I mean, I laugh and say it took 5 minutes. It was maybe an hour. I mean, I did a live stream right when it happened, and before the live stream was over, she was unbanned. Like, that's how ridiculous that was. So, I mean, you can't really credit that. But then again, I mean, this is the person that decided that they would go. I mean, their call to fame is the crying video. Let me see. That's, I'm sure, in one of the mockery things. Oh man, there was an article about it. Again, this is just it's not even much of an article, but I find it funny. Anytime a place does an article on Taylor Lorenz, that's what they go back to. They're like, oh my God. And they use that. They use her Amber Heard, I'm being attacked online. And it's like, you're not, you're horrible. You're a terrible person. These people, they don't care that I'm trying to ruin their lives and they mock me. We also found out, so this was important too, under old Twitter, she was very much protected. This was something that Elon Musk did actually know. But for him to, like I said, I'm sure he might recognize the name if you reminded him, maybe. But as far as the person himself, theirself, he may not, again, they're all, if you're like tech journalists, I think they're all the same. But one of the things that we found out, there were leaked messages, internal ones, talking about Taylor Lorenz. And Taylor Lorenz was writing to Twitter, talking about this account here, this account, it's doing X, Y, or Z, and they need to be banned. And internal messages, this is old Twitter, this is pre-Elon. Again, I'm not taking up for now Twitter, it has its own issues, but old Twitter, man, some of the stuff they were doing behind the scenes is jacked up. And one of them, again, internally, they were talking about protecting Taylor Lorenz. Not going out like if you or I were being stalked or, had issues. Actually, Twitter then really didn't do anything about any of that either. If you or I had an issue, they wouldn't, if we're being doxxed by someone, they don't do anything about it. But Taylor Lorenz could claim, oh man, when people would do investigative journalism into her, talking about, she comes from money or this or that, when that stuff would come up, all of that would get shut down and quickly. And you'll notice, it's still, most of that stuff is scrubbed off the internet. It's fascinating. It's crazy. You should go back to the leaks about that if you really want to, listen. And you should also look up, again, Taylor Lorenz doxing the wrong woman. Like, that got lost in all of the libs of TikTok stuff. Because the media, they latched on. Taylor Lorenz went to libs of TikTok's home. Found their name, went to their home, did all of this, made sure to dox them. And it was applauded because, a thought crime. And again, like I said, you can hate that person, but ultimately the stuff that they post is stuff from media or from TikTok. Again, if you don't like what they're saying about it, still, you can't call that doxing or anything else. Taylor Lorenz, on the other hand, went to someone's house. But what was lost in all of that, like I said, she went to the wrong person's house. Before that, she found the name that was associated with it, and she thought, it's okay. And it was kind of crazy to see. We hear Taylor Lorenz loves to use words like misogyny, talk about, again, she had to apologize for that, but she likes to call people misogynists and harassers. But she decided to put the crosshairs on not only a Jewish woman, but on the wrong Jewish woman, because all those folks are the same, I guess, according to Taylor Lorenz, which is wild when you think about it. But anyway, so over this, like I said, Ari Jacobs, unfortunately, she cataloged all of the replies that Lorenz had been putting up. I was going to pull them all up for a show tonight just to show you all of it, but I'm sure her Twitter will come back. Maybe not today, but it'll be back after whatever's going on. And when I saw all of that, though, what the point was, she didn't just respond to it like it was good humor. She responded to the person that posted, and then she responded, and then she responded, and then she responded. It just kept going, and it's wild. And what she'll do too, this is what modern journalists love to do. They'll block you while they do that. That whole time while Taylor Lorenz has targeted many people. Again, myself, she did this to me. When she decided to put out an article about me and was talking about, me being sexist and all of this other crap, she had me blocked on Twitter. I couldn't see anything that she was saying. I would have people send it to me. But the targeting, again, that's what modern journalists do. They don't open themselves up for responses unless they can control the narrative. They will not allow somebody to respond to just flagrant nastiness. And Taylor Lorenz is one of the worst. And I thought it was funny because, again, you see the The headline on this, cringe. Washington Post cry bully Taylor Lorenz says Elon Musk goes out of his way to screw with her, even though he's never heard of her. I love the headline. She got desperate in the Eve Barlow sense. Now, Barlow's been doing well lately because of the Israel-Palestine conflict. She's actually been doing well because, she's been nasty about it. Very nasty about it. And it's helped her. I'm not supporting that when I say that. I'm just commenting on the fact. She went from the Amber Heard Sims, dumping her on the sideline because she was getting like 2 likes and 35 comments that attacked her, to getting hundreds. Up, got a kid. Give me a second. Hey, what's up, girl?
You want to see me blow the biggest bubble?
Oh, you're blowing a bubble? Oh my goodness, show it to me. Here we go. Show me the biggest bubble ever. She has gotten chewing gum, ladies and gentlemen. And she is now. Here, let me lay the stage here. This little baby umbrella girl is now going to blow the biggest bubble in the world.
I blow bubble every day.
You do, I know. She has learned to blow bubbles. Show us. Here it goes. Okay, I'm ready. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen the biggest bubble being blown ever. Give me 5. That was amazing. Give me 5. We have now announced that to 850 people. And look, they're all telling you, look at that. They're like, hey, chat. They're telling you they love, look at all those hearts and stuff.
And look at those stairs.
I know they love it. They love how good you are at that. So bang it out. All right. Now go upstairs. You got your...
You want to see another bubble?
One more. All right. Drum roll. Here we go. Yes, I know. It takes a minute. I know. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness. I hear that one pop. That was so good. Give me 5. Good job, girlfriend. Yeah, Shannon O'Brien Chronicles sent 2. She said, I blow bubbles too with my bubble gum. That's what she's doing. She's got the bubble tape out. And bubble tape's hard to blow bubbles with. All right. Here, go upstairs, kiddo. I got a live stream tonight. Thank you for showing me. Huh? Do what?
I gotta try the blue bubble gum to blow with then.
Yeah, well, try out some new bubble gum with it. She figured out how to blow bubbles today. She's been showing off. I don't know if you remember being a kid and you were like, oh my God, I am the most impressive person ever. I actually can remember, like, somewhat, those kind of milestones. I wish, some days in life, I wish I could go back to simpler times. When people paid my bills, because I was a kid, and I didn't understand that everything cost something. And, stuff like, hey, watch me blow this bubble with my bubble gum. That was like an impressive milestone in my day. I wish I could go back to that. I love it. I love seeing that. It actually puts me in a good mood to see, too. Give me a second. I like seeing it gives you a reality check on stuff. We get caught up in this ridiculousness of so much other stuff. And really, like I said, the simple things. I wish I could look at life and be mesmerized by the simple things again. Now, speaking of simple things, today, Megan Fox owned a certain lawyer, calling him a simple thing. Did you like that transition? That was amazing. It was a great live stream too. In fact, I'm going to suggest to everybody out there, if you did not check out the live stream today, Megan Fox needs some love on that. Let me pull this up, because one thing that she did, and she's been talking about it, she put on a show today, which was awesome to watch. But as part of that, she wrote a certain tramp stamp lawyer. And a certain tramp stamp lawyer wrote back. It's amazing. I was shocked to see. Apparently, apparently, so he claimed in one of his letters to opposing counsel, Greg Woodnick, he claimed that, people that have, again, I'm paraphrasing this, okay? So if I don't paraphrase it exactly right, you'll have to forgive me, I'm paraphrasing. But he was saying people he's gone up against, they've had their license pulled, and some of them have even ended up in jail, with the implication being he was responsible. I mean, how else would you take that? Like when you looked at the comments, so Megan wrote, and was like, hey, Mr. Gingras Esquire. I love how she put the Esquire on there. I got traffic coming back one more time. All right, what you doing? You showing me? Oh, you put in some new gum. Hey, don't chew too much bubble gum, okay? Oh, that's a cool bubble. That blew 2 little bubbles. That was cool. All right, give me 5. All right, hey, you got to go upstairs. You can show me some more after live stream. Hey, do not put too much bubble gum in your mouth, because if you get too much in there, if you go to swallow it, you may choke on it, okay? So don't look. Hey, be careful, okay? All right, love you. All right, you be careful. Have fun, but be careful. Yes, we have to talk about safety, Do not chew an entire bag of bubble gum. Well, she didn't have that much, but she put in another half a piece. I was like, no more. So anyway, David Gingras. I like how she put in the Esquire. You notice, I don't know if any of you actually use Esquire. If you do, and you're a decent person, man, you are like a unicorn. Because most people that actually add Esquire to their name, most of them are pretty horrible people, I've found. It's usually a reflection of a certain mindset. So, I'm following up on an exhibit in Greg Woodnick's recent filing that was an email from you to him claiming that attorneys you opposed in other cases have lost their licenses and or ended up in jail. Now, please respond with the identifying names of these lawyers and cases and case numbers in which these alleged events occurred in order to report these new statements you've made. I need to do my due diligence and fact check those remarks. All the best, Megan Fox. I mean, that's there's nothing wrong with that request, right? And she's talking about, let me see. Give me a second. So she actually gets a response to this, okay? And she gets a few responses, in fact. And again, I really, if you would, go and check out the live stream itself. Because the live stream, there's so much more than what I'm hitting in this, okay? I'm just paraphrasing a little bit of a back and forth. Because essentially, Megan ends up wrecking him by asking for proof. The kryptonite for David Gingras, apparently. So, but he's like, Megan, I don't know much about you, but at least based on what I've seen, you're not a journalist. I mean, for real. He's like, the male vocal fry. He reminds me of, again, human tramp stamp or quote-unquote press. If you were, I'd be happy to answer your questions. Calling yourself a journalist is kind of like Hunter Biden calling himself an artist. Wait a minute. We're going anti one of the Biden. I thought that was against his rules. I thought he was just obsessed with, Cheeto dust and Orange Man. But apparently, Megan gets somewhat compared to Hunter Biden in some roundabout way. I mean, it's like what? Again, you're not the press. I mean, I'd answer your questions totally, but you're not a journalist. Let me look up, just for curiosity's sake, by the way, let's look up the word journalist. Is a person who writes, this is the definition, okay? A person who writes for newspapers, magazines, or news websites, or prepares news to be broadcast. Now, Megan Fox does indeed do all of those things. prepares news. She writes for publications. She's written for other prior publications. Again, you know, people want to say, "Oh, you're not a journalist because you're totally not writing for the mainstream, the big what, five." I say big five. I'm not talking about ABC, NBC. I'm talking about pretty much, and this is very provable, all of your media is owned by a handful of people. You know, we looked at like Variety, Rolling Stone, all of that. They're all owned by the same company. You know, all these places are owned by the same people. So apparently, if you're not falling in line with that, you're tantamount to Hunter Biden as an artist. That's creepy. It's creepy that Hunter Biden's the first reference he comes up with, too. In my view, you're not a journalist. You're a troll. And feeding trolls is never wise. But, sticking my hand in a bear trap, it's not wise, but I mean, are you kidding me? Oh my God. This guy, man. He spends all that time insulting, but he can't stop himself from still having to go on. Like for me, if I respond, okay, if I get an inquiry from one of the mainstream media publications, I mock it thoroughly publicly. That's what I do. I answer publicly. I never answer anything via email unless I'm going to post it as well. That's one of my rules, you know. So I'm not saying I never respond, but I respond publicly. You know, for him though, he's like, "That's never smart. You're not a journalist." But since I'm technically on vacation this week, so apparently you're living a pretty shallow life, I'm going to say, when this is that's what you do for vacation. You're like, you know what would be great for my vacation time? Yeah, you're not a journalist. You're a troll. I don't troll bait, but I'm on vacation, so I guess I will. So here's a very short response. Let's see. Pulls this up here. I'm not sure of the exact number of other cases where this happened, but in that email to Woodnick, I was thinking of 3 specific cases I've worked on where opposing counsel was later disbarred or otherwise lost their law license. That statement is 100% true. Note, I never said they were disbarred directly because of the cases I worked on. Oh, that's what you implied. I mean, the fuck you say? It's a threat. You know? If I'm like, you know, the last 3 people to flex on me, well, let's just say they got lead poisoning. I'm not talking about when they worked at the pencil factory, mofo. I'm talking about something else. I mean, the implication there is very easily defined, right? Yeah, I was talking about, you know, when they were driving a forklift and one of them had a terrible accident and actually fell into a vat of pencils. Why a vat? I don't know. Just go with it. I mean, it's the dumbest thing ever. I never said that, but at least one case that was almost certainly true. How is something almost certainly true, by the way? Is that sort of like my truth, you know? That's almost certainly true. Not exactly true. I mean, if it's almost true, that means it's not true. Correct? So, I mean, the wiggle worm, this is... Oh. I swear. It's like watching a freaking, like a slug, you know, crawl across things. There's no form, no shape. But hey. Now, all 3 of those cases are a matter of public record. So if you're a journalist, you can prove that by doing your research, and finding those cases shouldn't be hard. What are you doing now? Wait a minute, 1 second. What are you doing?
I killed.
Get that pillow off your arms, crazy legs. You're going to fall down the steps doing that. Here, pull your arms out. Pull your arm out. There you go. Here, take it upstairs. You know, hey, tonight you want to watch a scary movie?
Pennywise.
I'm not watching Pennywise. I'm not watching Pennywise. Are you done with that gum, by the way? Is it all tasty and nasty now?
No.
Okay. Well, here, go upstairs. You got to go up. You
I
know
like
what?
the normal kind of bubble gum.
Yeah, well, we'll
I
get
like
some.
the real bubble gum and the other bubble gum.
I'll get some real. But if you're good, you go upstairs tonight, and then tomorrow, when I get a chance, I'll go down to the gas station. I'll get you some real bubble blowing bubble gum. Okay?
No blue bubble gum.
Yeah, that
I
kind
don't
of bubble.
like the blue bubble gum. Okay.
Okay, and be careful. Don't. Hey, watch where you're walking. You're gonna fall down the steps, kiddo. Love you. Love you.
Hello.
Hey, shut my door, okay? Thank you.
Why do you want your door shut?
She came down. Why do I want it shut? Because I can hear those cicadas outside. I don't know where you live, by the way, right now, if you have cicadas out, but here, since there's a lot of woodland around, it's an insane amount of noise. I'll actually, I'll post it tomorrow. I'll go outside in the middle of the day. I mean, they're everywhere. I remember when I was a kid, the worst I ever saw them, there were so many of them. You know, it was in their biggest cycle. I would go out on our driveway. You couldn't see the driveway. There were so many cicadas. It's crazy. Listening to those things, man, it's so maddening. But anyway, okay. I'm getting off topic, sorry. So he's like, again, I didn't mean that I got them there. You can actually look them up if you want. Okay. And of those 3 cases, 2 involve lawyers who also later went to jail or prison. Again, public record. So should be easy to find this. Because I'm such a nice person. Man. I always hate people like that. I do. You know, because I'm such a malevolent entity. Malevolent. Because I'm such a loving, kind, fulfilling person, I might spit on you while you're on fire. I mean, really, what is this, man? Because I'm such a nice person. Do tell. Here's one hint. Scott Rothstein. Now, the Scott Rothstein thing was actually kind of fascinating because if you look him up, Scott Rothstein, okay? I'm gonna wiki him. I know wiki is not a preferred choice, but I'm not doing a lot of work on this. Now again, remember, the whole point in bringing this up is because he brought this up to Woodnick. Pretty much, I took it as an implied threat, okay? So Rothstein, he's an American disbarred lawyer, convicted felon, and former managing shareholder, chairman, CEO of the now defunct, they note the law firm. He was funding an extravagant lifestyle with a $1.2 billion Ponzi scheme, one of the largest in history. So, when you go through this guy that he names here, an opposing counsel that lost their license and went to jail, this guy was running a Ponzi scheme. It wasn't because of something he did in the courtroom. It was because he was defrauding people. And he was defrauding people to the sum of $1.2 billion. He ended up with 50 years in prison, but it has nothing to do with Gingras. In fact, looking through everything that he has to say here, I didn't find anything noted about him at all. He's not considered any high point at all in that conviction. It has nothing to do with him. So, he was just opposing counsel in some way, and somehow that's supposed to matter in the discussion, again, as a threat with a lawyer. That's just, it's kind of bizarre, isn't it? Hey, you know, again, people I've gone up against, they've lost their licenses. Some of them have ended up in jail. Again, the implication to that is, yeah, messing around with me, that'll wreck you. When in reality, it's like, okay, that's like saying, hey, you know what? I went to Walmart one day, and man, I'm going to say at least 10 of those people that I passed in that Walmart on Black Friday, yeah, they've ended up in jail. What does that matter? It doesn't mean anything. So he notes that. That guy was opposing counsel in a case I worked who later went to prison. If it really matters, you'll have to do your homework to find the prior cases to verify this. There were 2 of them, both federal. Okay, so again, it's like, what the what? Fun bonus fact, by the way. Ooh, fun bonus fact. Go find the name of the prosecutor who handled most of the sexual conduct with a minor case. Hint, her name was Lisa whatever. Also disbarred. Clearly nothing to do with my case specifically, but that's still a fun fact. I mean, again, what does that have to do? So what this is it's a sleazy backtracking method, in my opinion. When you look at it again, no. I wasn't actually making a threat. I was making a statement that doesn't work into the conversation in any way whatsoever. You know, I mean, when you're going through, give me 1 minute. I'm going to find, they have other communications too. You know, give me 1 second here. You know, they were pulling up the communications showing exactly what was noted. And when you read through this, again, here's the statement itself. I'm going to read this to you. This is what he had to say. I'm going to read these paragraphs because for context, okay? So you understand what he noted versus what he's saying now. Did Dave Neal ever share that long email I sent? If you haven't seen it, let me know, and I'm happy to share it with you. The point is, you misunderstood what I meant about Conor McGregor. As I explained to Dave Neal, I've been involved in many cases that were much more contentious than this one. And in many of those cases, opposing counsel ended up losing their licenses. And in more than one case, the lawyers ended up in jail. So again, and in many of those cases, not, 5 years after the fact randomly. No, in many of those cases, again, the statement there connects this to those cases. The Conor McGregor reference simply means I've been dragged into a lot of really nasty fights, never by my choice. And in many of those fights, my adversaries have ended up self-destructing while I'm still here standing. That's what Conor McGregor means to me. It was never a suggestion that I enjoy violent confrontation or that I'm out to gratuitously hurt anyone. My point's to say that I'm a veteran of many tough battles, and while I prefer to avoid messy conflicts, I'm not afraid of going there if given no other choice. So, I mean, when you read that statement, again, how do you get that's not pointed at them in any way? I mean, what's he saying? Well, down the road, Greg, down the road, yeah, you too may start running a Ponzi scheme because you ran into me. So enjoy your lifestyle for 3 to 5 years because you'll be in jail for 50 years after that, mofo. I mean, what's that mean? I don't get it. I don't get that at all. I mean, again, the implication, and I mean, it's weird. It's a bizarre thing. So, give me a second. I'm rolling forward to get her other emails in here, too. So, she writes him back and was like, David, are you claiming that the prosecutor who went after you for the sexual misconduct case, which I have always reported was dismissed due to prosecutorial, there we go, blah, that word did not like me today. I had another word yesterday. Today, that was the word, misconduct. But are you taking credit for her disbarment? I just want to make sure I'm getting this right and you're including her in this list. If so, how did your particular skills lead to that result? Which I think is a very fair question again. Like, how does this tie in? Because otherwise, you know, that's kind of like when I'm reading something and I start talking about another subject. You know, you'll hear me segue into something else. Yeah, that's me talking about another thing. That's not what happened in that email. There is no segue talking about, well, you know, this thing, that thing, the other thing. Then making notes. I won't be chasing down your random cases and spending all my time attempting to dig up what you're hinting at. It either happened and you can prove it, or it didn't and you can't name them because they don't exist. I can look up the one you gave, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're not willing to divulge the other two, then my report is going to say Gringras refused to provide the names of the lawyers or cases he claims ended up in disbarment or jail. So put up or shut up, David. You're the one who made the claim. Let's see the receipts. And again, I mean, I think that's totally fair. Do you see anything wrong with that? Let me know. If you see anything wrong with that statement, if you see anything that, you know, because he loves to claim bias or Clayton's crew. Here, if it looks totally legit to you, if you think, man, that's what journalists ask for. They ask for references. Give me a 1. Otherwise, if you think there is something wrong with what's being requested there, if you think somehow, some way, asking for background, you know, to provide some cases where you talked about that, give me a 2. I'm curious if any of you actually do think that there's some sort of other way to read his statement. Because I for real, I really want to, you know, check my X messages. Let me see. Man, you should see some of my X messages these days. Like I said, I get so many weird, spammy ones lately that if you sent me something and I haven't responded, bump it. Write bump, B-U-M-P. Message me that word again. And that way I'll know it was you specifically that was messaging me over something I should look at. Because I get, again, on a slow day, I usually get it around 100 messages at least. Like, that's just a slow day. Some days, if there's something really popping off, I get quite a few more. So I lose track of stuff. That's why I would love to write everyone back. I appreciate the hell out of all of you. I don't have that much time in my day, you know? With kids and everything, I can't make that work. My God, AJ Stone, 20 gifted memberships, man. I saw that whole line fall in, AJ Stone, man. Thank you for that. That's crazy, dude. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate you all, too, for being able to cover anything I want. Again, I can guarantee 500 to thousands of people. Just depending, 500 people, that's great. 1,000, I mean, again, when I started out, 8 people. That's what I would have in a live stream, 8 people. So, being able to do this, be able to support, and, you know, I haven't been doing as many short videos because a lot of the censorship that you see hits the short form videos. Like with live streams, you do have censorship added to them, but I already know they're demonetized, so I don't give a shit. Those are backed by folks like yourself. So when we put on our show, I already know how that's going to play, and you know I adjust for that accordingly. But I mean, I'm not saying that I won't do shorter form. When I say short form, my short form is 8 to 10 minutes, you know. But with that, I just feel like, I don't know, sometimes I like presenting everything. It gives us a place where you and I can speak about this while we're going through it. And I think that's, I think that adds so much more outside of that algorithm, you know? So anyway, Megan, this is why I can't waste time responding to you. Because you aren't normal. You aren't normal, Megan. You ever see Total Recall? Yeah, you got a little Quatu living on you. I mean, what is that supposed to mean? You aren't normal. This dude, this is the guy that sits down in filings and rants about Donald Trump in them. He not only does that, but he, again, in one filing, and this makes me so mad when I bring this up. In one of his filings, he actually mentioned a scenario, I'm going to say, where what if 3 women came out and claimed that Clayton Echard ARPed them? And that, again, this is the guy that's telling people they aren't normal or they're not acting in good faith. Oh, by the way, I want to note this too. So everybody's been trying to get media to pay attention to this case. One of the people that has been tagged in recently, and I think he's very valuable to speak to, is Andrew Gold. Andrew Gold currently, Andrew Gold, he has been running Heretics now, which is, it deals with specific social issues. But he also, his other channel that he works with, he covered cases. He talked about time in the media. And one of the things I like about Andrew Gold is that he shows you that some journalists will actually listen. People that have a background in that. And he is willing to talk to, I think he might actually talk to Dave Neal, Megan Fox, and myself. He might talk to all of us, which I think, you know, if nothing else, I want, if the media covers this, again, this is not my case. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with me. I think I can perhaps get some people to talk about it, but the real person that needs to speak, if it's anybody that's not Clayton Echard or a lawyer, Dave Neal. Dave Neal, and the reason for that isn't just his knowledge on this case. It's also because he has been brought in as part of the case. He was targeted by Laura Owens. And at the end of this, too, one of the reasons all this stuff needs to be covered is because I think that, I think a lot of us are going to be targeted in the aftermath. That's what we've had the threat. So I think with more eyes on it and more coverage, it's going to make that a little more difficult, you know. So, give me 1 second here. So anyway, he's definitely open. He's also, he said this before. He said, you know, I'm a stepping stone to other media, like media will watch. So he, you know, I don't know how many hits on his regular channel that we get, but I think that is a step in the right direction. So I'm gonna propose that to Dave, Megan, and everyone. But everybody keep hammering that. One of the things that I want to, and I'll read this in just a second, but one of the things I really want to happen when people cover this is they take someone like Dave Neal and they have them tell about what's going on. Dave Neal is a great interview. Like for me, he speaks at a more rapid pace. Like for someone like myself, I speak slower. I'm from the South. You know, we speak slow. I think about what I'm saying throughout it. He's fast. He's witty. He knows this case very well. When the media starts to cover it, one of the things you will find is they will disappoint you. They will leave out giant parts of it. And some of the media will be afraid to cover this the way that it needs to be. They will be afraid of covering a topic that, again, they're afraid to go against a listen and believe type narrative, even with lots of proof. People like Andrew Gold aren't afraid of that. So I think that's an important first step. So again, I'm going to present that. But again, folks, I've seen a lot of people tagging in media, getting them on that. When people mention that, tell them to interview Dave Neal or a Megan Fox. You know, I think Dave Neal, I would love to see his channel blow up too, honestly. I think he's good people, but on top of that, I think that out of anyone that gets out there on the microphone, I mean, a lot of you, again, are covering this and covering it well, but as far as microphones are concerned, I mean, he's good on that mic. So anyway, Megan, you're not normal, and you aren't acting in good faith. As I told Dave Neal, I've done tons of media over the years. I've done tons of media. You know what? As I tell you, Gingrich, I've turned down tons of media over the years. See, it's so fucking egotistical, man. You know, oh, I've done tons of... It's like, really? I use a pickle avatar, mofo, and people listen to me. I mean, what is that? I mean, what kind of arrogance? Come on, man. I know what real journalists look, act, and sound like. Huh? What they look like? I mean, that's a weird statement there. What is Megan too female to be a real journalist? Is that what the problem is, David? I'm curious. What do real journalists look like? I mean, is Megan not waspy enough? I mean, what are we saying here? You know? Well, you know, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, is she not what? Yeah, bringing back the old insults. I'm bringing it back. I mean, for real, what's going on here? And what's he trying to say? And act like, man, welcome to the Thunderdome, mofo. I mean, this is where people cover. And again, her articles, if you read what she puts in print, she does indeed put her opinion with something, but she backs that up. You know, that's pretty much what media does these days anyhow. You have, they won't tell you that all the time. At least with Megan, she's telling you, you know, this is my opinion. I'm telling you 100%. This is the way that I see this, and I base it on X, Y, and Z. So she puts in her sourcing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. That's exactly what journalists do. I mean, compared with who? Dr. Phil? I mean, his claim to fame was Dr. Phil, right? So like I said, I'm curious about that. Tug is not that clever. That's me. I'm not that clever, actually. You're right. Do you think Tug is not that clever? You love the one-liners? Yeah. I have a drier sense of humor. I had two people bump up stuff, by the way. Let me see. What is this? Oh, yeah. I actually, so, Moto, I do see your stuff. I was looking that over, and I remember one of those, and one of the other ones I've actually got to look at. The other one, JR, I will say. I will check out what's all there for sure. I've also been asked, just to randomly throw this in, too. Actually, I was asked to look into, give me one second. And I've started looking into this. I looked at it, so, you know, I like looking at different cases. One of the cases that I've had referenced to me multiple times is the case with Nick Carter. And some of the stuff that I looked through with Nick Carter, yeah, some of the accusations against him they don't look right. So I am looking into that more too. I'm curious about it, but I'm hitting that. You know, like I said, I've looked at certain motions in that case. I've looked at a few things here and there, but I'm going back and looking over that too. So anyway, trust me, he goes on. It's nothing like you or Dave. You and Dave, you aren't even real journalists. You don't look or sound like that. Does Dave, here's a question. Do you think that Dave considers himself a journalist? I mean, but what he does, and what a lot of us do, is investigative journalism. But what he's setting out there, do you think he considers himself, he's sitting around saying, yeah, I'm a journalist. These days, the word journalist is an insult oftentimes. There are a few people out there that I like, that I find, at least they're honest about what they're doing. Like, the reason I don't like people like Taylor Lorenz or a Cat Tim Bar, just because they aren't honest. They're attack dogs for a status quo system that wants to destroy people. One of the things I think a journalist is supposed to do. See, I cover a case for 4 years. 4 years I covered a case. And what I heard from journalists over and over again is that doing that much research is somehow wrong. It's somehow inherently wrong to read every single filing that comes up in a case. That somehow that it's wrong to go through and not just have an opinion on something, but to base that opinion on something. I don't base an opinion on an article that came out. I try to base it on, something that I've researched. I mean, we're talking about people's lives here. One sec. Oh, you want me to open this for you? Excuse the noise.
Did you see that bubble?
I did see that bubble. That was amazing. Now, are you finished with that gum? Has it lost its flavor? Okay, here. I got a thing. You can put that in right here, okay? And then you can have those. Since you have been so good today. You've been so nice. Here, let's put the gum in there. There you go. Good job. And here you go. Here's this.
You see that?
So take it upstairs. It's very loud. It picks up in the microphone. So take that up. I close my door too, okay?
Why did
You did. You've been very good today. I saw your karate. You were like, wow, learning to kick. It's very good. Oh, she got her, she got her yellow belt.
And I put my legs as high as I can.
I know. You kick it up very high.
I'm gonna tell them. Tell them I put my legs up high.
Yeah, I did. Okay, I've got to tell you that she puts her legs up real high when she's kicking. That's what she wanted me to tell you. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. She's proud of her, right? She's, she and her sister have been, they've been doing so good with that stuff. I know, they've been working it out. The karate, it's been good for self-confidence, too. Not just activity and interaction and all of that, but also self-confidence. So, anyway, journalists have a code of ethics. You don't. Journalists tell both sides of a story in a fair and neutral manner. You don't. Okay, so, what is a neutral manner, by the way? If you wanted me to just recite court documentation, just to pull it up, even the court reporter that talks about cases that come up, give opinions on cases. They talk about filings and what they think they mean. Now, that is not a totally neutral stance. They are formulating opinion based on something. And journalists very much do. Now, as far as code of ethics, I think that is such a nebulous statement. There's no no real grounding in reality. I mean, what code of ethics? Like I said, I've had a dozen plus places put out hit pieces in 1 month, and they had no problem. Not only not only giving opinions, but when they did hit pieces, like a Rolling Stone, for example. You know, Rolling Stone, are those people journalists? You know, because they accused a bunch of college students of horrible crimes that they did not commit. They admitted, so when the Meghan Markle stuff came up, you know, along with Amber Heard and whatever else they were covering in their article, they admitted that the person they were talking to during that, they were on a mass flagging campaign. And since that person's mass flagging campaign didn't work, they were going out of their way to help them.
Look at this.
Where'd you get that?
I found it in the kitchen.
Is this new? Is it brand new?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can have it. Here.
Yeah. I just eat the Fruit Loops out.
Yeah, eat them like that. They're better that way, too. Yeah, you can have that. All right. Hey, go close my door, though, okay? And go watch your TV for a little bit. I need to finish my stuff, okay, baby? All right. Love you. She found some Fruit Loops. She was like, you know, she was asking, can I have those? Which is good. Anything she finds, that's my, you know, never eat something you don't first show to me. You know, make sure everything's safe. So I always look at it. That's good there. But journalists, they tell both sides of a story. Aren't we doing that? I mean, like I said, I cover, just like a Megan does this too. We cover every table scrap of information that comes up. Now, granted, I'm going to miss certain documents every now and then. Like if there's a flood of documents, sometimes we end up getting the answer to something that's already put before a court. We already know it's been struck down. And we'll talk about some of this stuff later. But as far as the presentation of anything, we've read Gingris's filings. In fact, I kind of love reading his filings myself. We've gone through almost every blog entry except for that last one, which I do plan on going through. We've also covered prior cases. We covered when he put up deposition and was like, ha ha, this is a win. We covered that to see what he was talking about. So when it comes to that, we've covered claims too. Everything that Laura Owens has actually said in making claims, we have covered. Now, we've talked about how that fits into everything else that has come up. Is that what that means? I mean, again, essentially what I hear here is because you're not listening and believing, that's not both sides, which is absolute absurdity. I understand selling drama. I like to laugh at stupid people as much as the next person. You know, I find that to be fun. I do not, however, consider covering a case. This isn't my case. In fact, I would not cover a family court case typically. I don't like that. I don't like covering something like there has to be a point. You know, just because star or starlet is having X or Y issue, I don't personally find that. I don't find that to be any of you or I's business. If that were all this was, then we wouldn't cover it at all. Now, some people might note it, you know, like, oh, this, you know, this couple is having a breakup or whatever. I mean, that does get covered, but we don't cover that because of this. The reason that we've been covering this is because Laura Owens asked for press. She wanted attention on it. She got attention on it. And as more and more people, they paid attention to what she was saying, what she put out into the public, into the press. Not just the press. I want to make this clear, too. She didn't just approach the press. She approached the public. And as far as people like Dave Neal, she approached Dave Neal. So to come in and say that Dave Neal isn't the type of person you think should be approached, he's not a journalist, well, You all approached him. In fact, David Gingras has had conversations with him. I know he's giving him headshots or whatever. So that's just a strange thing to put in there. But I understand selling drama is what you guys do. And that's fine. But you do it in a totally dishonest and unethical manner, which is not fine. Unethical. That's a fascinating descriptor too, isn't it? Unethical. Unethical. Let's look. It's not conforming to a high moral standard. It's morally wrong. It's illegal. Yep. So he's trying to say, I guess, you don't have the same opinion, therefore that's illegal somehow. So, final message you will receive from me with 2 points. I mean, he goes on and on about you're untrustworthy, you're garbage, but I'm going to send you another email just so I can send you another one. So, number 1, no, I am not taking credit for Lisa A being disbarred. Okay, so again, going back to the whole point of this, he brought all of this stuff up. He's the one that threw that into conversation about people getting disbarred, people losing their license and going to jail. No, he's not taking credit. Never said that. No reasonable person would think that. I was just saying this is a funny coincidence. Don't you agree? People that go against me. Yeah. Sometimes when people walk up the steps in front of me, they fall down the steps with broken knees. Isn't that a funny coincidence? What? This is why I sent you a link to the case that explains why she was disbarred. Read it if you can. If you can read. What a petty little fucker, man. If you can read. He's channeling like elementary school. I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to be like, circle, circle, dot, dot. Now I got my cootie shot. I mean, what are we going to get into? Oh, my Lord. It's so petty. So strange. Read it if you can. And you will understand exactly what happened with her. It had nothing to do with me. Feel free to publish a story that says you think I'm not being honest about the other lawyers who went to jail. Publish anything that comes close to implying that. And within 24 hours, you'll be sued for defamation in Arizona. So, it's threats now. You publish something that says, I'm not being honest. Again, this mofo, like that's all he does is beat on his fucking chest all the time and say how great he is and how, people that go against him, they lose their licenses and all of this stuff. Man, you post something, you say, I don't think he's being honest. I'm going to sue you. Seriously? As the saying goes, that's not a threat, it's a promise. That's not a threat, it's a promise. And don't say I refuse to give this information because that is false. I told you to go find that info yourself because it's all available. If you just take the time and look for it. If you choose not to, and you're implying I'm not being honest, you're coming to Arizona to prove that. Yeah, I'd love to see your messages to another attorney and then have that pulled up and saying, any reasonable person reading that message would take that as a threat. The Conor McGregor of lawyers. So the Conor McGregor of lawyers, I guess, is I'm going to sue you for defamation. That's Conor McGregor? Because, man, I swear, that's more like fucking throwing down with Pee Wee Herman. Man, Pee Wee Herman's in the octagon. I mean, come on. Welcome to the big top. Conor McGregor, man. And when that happens, trust me, I'll have all the receipts I need. I know you think publishing lies is funny. It's not funny. Ask Rudy Giuliani or Donald Trump. I knew we couldn't get these emails without Donald Trump being thrown in. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? Ask Donald Trump. Ask him about it. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I mean, really. You know, goodbye and don't email me again, Mr. Esquire. So, David gets mailed back. David, it's not the responsibility of a journalist to follow poorly dropped breadcrumbs to find alleged cases you claim exist, but won't reveal the names of the cases for anyone to easily verify. As to your threats to sue me for reporting exactly what has happened, I asked for the cases, and you only provided one of the three. It's absurd, and you know it. I'd take that to a judge any day. Now, like your client, who is always giving a going out of business final opportunity to comply with their demands to date her. You like that, by the way? Just like your client, who gives that final opportunity, you know. Yep. I mean, 50% off. 75. Actually, the only difference is she hikes up the prices, you know. It's like, I'm going to take you to court. Oh no, I'm going to take you to court for $45,000. Oh, I'm going to take you to court for domestic violence. I'm going to take you to court for $100,000. I'm going to tell them about how, I mean, it just gets crazier and crazier. But I thought that was a funny line. I want to give you one more chance to provide me with those cases where you say your stunning legal prowess led to disbarment and or jail from the opposing attorneys before I share these emails with the public, which is 100%, it was hard for me to make that one out, my prerogative, as I identified myself as press and you chose to respond. And that is true, by the way, too. The press is under no obligation to keep any of this confidential or secretive. She can 100% share these communications. She identified herself as press. She asked questions related to specific items that he stated. And his answer there was, oh, no, I'm not actually making threats at all. Now, again, making it clear, this is a press inquiry. It's not because you communicate with somebody. Like I've said a million times, you communicate with me in good faith. And when I say it's good faith, you're talking about something, even if you don't like what I'm saying or something, and you write me, unless you're just you see the kind of emails that I put up. Even those, if I find out who the person is, I typically don't know who they are unless they're beating on their chest and claiming it. I mean, a press inquiry, though, it's a totally different beast. And people, you should know, if you're going to be, if somebody writes you with something, it may end up, too. Like, again, we see it from what he would probably call legitimate press. Again, places like the Washington Post. He seems like a Washington Post reader to me. The Washington Post, they 100% will take pieces of what you say and they'll hatchet job it. They're quoting you, right? Right? But she didn't do that. She actually showcased everything that was stated. I mean, everything that is here. Everything he sent, she went over and more. All the best. And feel free to block my email address if you don't want to receive any more emails. As a member of the press, I don't respond to threats and reserve the right to ask you, the attorney in a high-profile case, I'm covering questions of newsworthy importance when they come up. You certainly don't have to respond, but we both know you can't help yourself. I don't think there's anything else after that. You know, you got Dave coming in talking about it with her and stuff. But, I mean, it's wild looking at these communications. And again, you should watch this this live stream here, because the live stream has some wonderful tunes that get dropped in there. Everything else. Again, you'll enjoy the heck out of that live stream. That live stream deserves more attention too, especially since, I mean, again, you got threats. I will sue you. Like I said, I thought that was beyond fascinating. Now, give me a minute here. Let me close a few tabs as I'm rolling through here, so I can remember what the heck I was covering. Give me a minute. There's like, I've got a million freaking tabs open. When I pull up stuff that I want to cover, I tab them in. There was also, interestingly, I saw this pop up too. This was part of the case here. We had Sandra D noted. This is at D Sandra 25 saying, since Medium has suspended my blog article. So Medium apparently suspended this. I'll be posting threads every day until the end of the trial, sharing the same content I wrote on Medium. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read this, not tonight. I'm not going to hit everything on it, but I've marked this. Let me remark that so it'll be on the top. I marked this to go over because I think, you know, it's fascinating. I'd like to know a little bit more about Medium actually suspending this. I'm curious about that. But I found it fascinating, you know, reading through it. It's actually pretty good. So I'll go through this when there's more time, I think. Now, there's something I think I'm going to cover in its own. I'm sorry. I've been talking about baby reindeer is something that is being brought up with all of this, and there's some fascinating videos out. I mean, you have this account here. This account, it's got about 15,000 subscribers now. Gary828. They've pulled up not only the Facebook statements with all of the baby reindeer, Martha, the real life person, but they've taken the Facebook posts and they've showcased them against her in her interview with Piers Morgan. And it's fascinating because she says things like, you know, I don't drink, I've never drank. And at the same time, you know, she's celebrating events on Facebook. She's like, oh, I'm celebrating this with, and she'll name, you know, what drink she's having. So it's just fascinating stuff to follow. And a lot of the conversation, right now, I think the conversation becomes relevant because you're going to see a lot of people tagging baby reindeer in with the case we were talking about with Clayton Echard. And like I said, I think that's fair if you're talking. They're not the same, and yet, you know, again, there's the allegations of stalking, harassment, the mass mailing. I think it becomes interesting. So I think this is something we need to break down, like totally on its own. Man, I subscribe. See, I've been getting unsubscribed from all types of people. I'll mark that too. I've been getting unsubscribed. I just found that channel and started subscribing to it today. But I've been getting unsubscribed from a lot of people. Give me 1 minute here. All right, now the Diddy thing has been interesting to watch play out too, because what's happening right now with Diddy, if you look at coverage in the media, what you have are a lot of people that are calling out Diddy. You have organizations calling him out. In fact, let me pull this up here. So going through headlines, like if you start reading through headlines on it, you'll find people that have defended him, people that talked about that. You have, his former bodyguards saw him get physical with women. You have other people again. You have so many people talking about it. And one of the things that give me 1 second. I want to find a specific article. You had Nicole Brown Simpson's sister actually coming out and talking about this. And I thought this was really interesting because you're now having comparisons with Diddy and O.J. Simpson. What that says to me is the man, he will make money off of other people's work. He's done that for a while now. But as far as his name is concerned, yeah. Nobody, first of all, he's opened himself up for all types of litigation. He's going to get hit hard with litigation. He's already settled some high profile. And he promised, one of the things that was interesting is after he had settled one case, he had other cases roll in. And he responded to them basically, saying, I'm going to fight back. That was his response before. No, it was no more of this. Now I'm going on the offensive. Well, after that video came out, that's basically burned all of that down for him. There is no way whatsoever that he is going to be able to go out and he's going to be able to salvage his career reputation. I mean, he's done. He is done. But you see, it happened to Nicole. It happened to Cassie. It can happen to anyone. Now, one of the things I don't like in some of the statements that I saw, we've had organizations come out, and one of the criticisms they had for Diddy was he didn't send out a message to young men. And I was like, he needs to send out, he needs to take accountability for himself. And his message needs to be him taking accountability personally and any other abuser out there, not men or women. Again, if we're talking domestically, stats by IPV arrests, 1 in 3 male. And that's, we've reported, and we know heavily underreported. So this should be to any abuser out there. And the real message needs to be sent by the police. I mean, ultimately, I realize there's the discussion of right now, we can't do anything about it because timeline. The timeline here, it doesn't work. Statute of limitations. I find that to be really fascinating, considering we have seen the police go after people for decades-old claims. If they want to go after somebody, they can and they will. I wonder, in some ways, in fact, I wonder if a case is being built against Diddy for other stuff. I wonder right now, I've seen a few photogs go and, they found Diddy and they've tried to ask him questions. Of course, he's not answering anything. But I wonder sometimes with the inaction, if it's not actually inaction that we're watching, I'm wondering, again, we've had raids. We've had just an insane amount of time. But after the raids, it was nothing but silence. Typically, the silence if you see raids and silence happens afterwards, that usually means that they're building something. Because they don't come kicking in your door unless they plan. You know, the government does many things, but one of the things it never does is admit fault. And to go in to raid a home and to say in the aftermath, you know, oops, my bad. Yeah, that doesn't happen. You know, that very rarely. You usually see people facing something bigger. So what I'm wondering is if they're actually building a case for something else, something bigger, like I said. Okay, drink. Oh no, I've been watching the Diddy stuff play out, and like I said, it's fascinating because I hate the words open secret, but Diddy for the longest time had been an open secret, as it were. He was one of those people that would be discussed, empire building on violence. There were people talking about his lifestyle. There were accusations. Again, they are accusations. I will make that clear. But there were some heinous accusations. And apparently some of those accusations, well, it's interesting to see what actually was real, isn't it? I mean, like I said, knowing what Diddy has done, I think now that's a good reason to go back and to read the litigation that he settled. You knew there was a problem. And I said this before, that either it was one of two things. When he settled that case, and he settled it just like that, within one day, there were one of two things. Either he was working with an old school media manager type that was telling him, you know, basically crush this now, it'll bury it and it'll go away. Or he knew what was under all of that stuff. He knew that there was stuff out there that if it ended up in the courtroom, that it would be a disaster for him. And it's been a disaster anyhow. But just the way that he handled that, it was so bizarre. And again, that doesn't, settling something, I want to make this clear. Settling a case does not imply guilt. That doesn't. It doesn't say you're guilty. Oftentimes insurance companies will push you towards it. There's so many reasons. But typically you don't settle just like that. Just try to shut it down before, you know, get somebody under a non-disclosure. Because that's part of what was, you know, what happens with that. Once you get a settlement, you gag that person. And I'm sure that it came with a high dollar amount, but it also came with a pretty heavy NDA. Because he wanted to shut down whatever was going to be said. And we saw some of the proof as to why. I wonder, too, you know, she brought up other things, not just about her. She brought up other things that were making headlines. Like, again, the Tupac issue has been out there. It's been in front of people for a long time. But one of the things with it, the guy that allegedly was one of the trigger men, you know, we were starting to see a lot of headlines about him. And then suddenly, you know, you have discussions about arming up, her hiding firearms, and, you know, all of this other stuff, which that opens up its own problem. Plus, you know, you have the discussion about blowing up a car. I thought that was insane. You know, she's saying that at one time she left, she was with I can't remember his name. But she ends up going back to Diddy, and during a fashion show, you know, he pretty much, he says this guy's car is going to be blown up, and it is blown up. So, I mean, the allegations to that are stunning. It brings a lot of, after what we saw there, I think it made the opposite happen, because it with him settling that, it makes everyone look at not just, again, that relationship, but everyone look at every claim that was there. I think Diddy, I think he's in a lot of trouble right now. I think a lot of it is his doing, of course. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve any of it. But I just, like I said, I find that fascinating. Anyway, this is some super chats. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Hey, stick print paint. Thanks for 23 months. There's a parcel at your P.O. box for a lug and a message in your email. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. I'll check that out for sure. Thanks for that. Ellen, thanks for the 2 months there. Hey, Tug, we should introduce her to Jane Doe now. Let's match me in heaven. Tracy Fagan, thanks for the 2. Here's some grubby cash for that new grill. Yeah, I need that new grill. That's right. If you like these type of content, again, this content is pretty much, it's viewer funded. So if you enjoy it, if you want to be a member, the things out there, again, share, like, make sure that people understand these cases that we cover, and make sure, they know that we cover this stuff. You being here matters. It helps in the algorithm with it. And if you like this and you want to consider supporting, definitely do. We could always use a brand new grill. I always wanted a platinum grill. It's funny. My daughter thought when I talked about a platinum grill, my oldest for the long time thought that I was talking about, grilling hamburgers, like getting a platinum grill. One day she sat down with me and she was like, Dad, I know you like steak, but why would you want a platinum grill? Does platinum make it cook better? Is that just showing off? I was like, no. And then I told her about, what a platinum grill was. I showed her pictures of it and stuff. She's like, that's ridiculous. She's like, Dad, sometimes you're embarrassing. Oh my God. I love that. She's like, Dad, sometimes you're embarrassing. John, hey, what's up, John, man? Thanks for 18 months. Remember when it was revealed that Twitter employees were selling blue check marks for like 15 grand? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yes, I do indeed remember that. In fact, do you remember, so right before Twitter fell, it went into new management cycle. Do you remember yours truly getting a check mark? Because you know what? To tell you how the check mark was viewed in the past as a status symbol. Again, imagine that. People were buying those verification check marks for $15,000 behind the scenes. I ended up getting one, though, and people threw an absolute shit fit. I couldn't believe I got one. I would apply for it all the time just because I thought it was funny. And one day Twitter was like, let's give it to him. And oh my God, for these people, like it was a fit. Like for myself, I found the humor in it. I think it made you somewhat unbannable on Twitter, but not shadow bannable or ghost bannable. But they usually wouldn't take you down. But besides that, I mean, what does it really mean? But for a lot of those folks, yeah, they thought it was valuable enough to spend $15,000. What that tells you is, in the past, it was never about verification. It was always about status. I just think that's hilarious. Unhung Hero, thanks for the 2. I can fix Taylor. There's another one you can fix, right? Unhung Hero. That's hilarious. Tracy, thanks for the 5 there. Taylor Lorenz, girl, you're not that important for Elon to even know who you are. I mean, that's a thing too. Like Elon, again, I'm critical of things that come up. I understand when you cover something, being critical. I was critical of all the stuff that happened with the ACLU. I've been critical of certain management things. I mean, I've tried to give credit where credit's due too. But I don't for 1 second think that Elon Musk knows who I am or even cares, you know? And for Taylor Lorenz to think that Elon Musk has shown enough consideration that he personally would set aside everything he's doing to try to ruin her life, I think that's wild. That is a wild accusation. Because again, she's not just saying, you know, Twitter is trying to do something to me. No, it's Elon Musk is trying to do something to me. I mean, that's something. What's up, Shannon O'Brien Chronicles? By the way, I covered this with her. I blow bubbles too with my bubble gum. Exactly. Kat, thanks for the 2 there. He loves conflict so much, he halted his vacation. Indeed. Isn't it fascinating that he was like, yeah, this is my vacation, but hey, why not? Now, granted, like for vacation and stuff, like if I'm on quote unquote vacation, I will live stream and do other stuff because I don't know. This is part of what I do for relaxation. I do not, however, try to check into my workplace and get involved in all kinds of crazy, you know. AJ too. What's up, AJ? Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership, my friend. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. I mean, I'm saying that, but I mean, you know, you dropped those 20 also. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Heather, thanks for the 2. Did you see that his parents were arrested? Oh, I did see that. So Courtney Clenny, you know, the quote-unquote model or quote-unquote influencer, they love that word these days, influencer, that killed her, I'm going to say companion, I don't remember, her significant other, I guess is a better word. Her significant other. Yeah, I saw that her parents had been arrested. That's crazy, man. That entire situation is just, it's unreal. It's unreal how much, what's unreal about that, and this is something that disturbs me in all of these cases, is even with him being deceased, she's still attacking him. You know, her lawyers, like, they essentially, oh, well, you know, the relationship was complex, or it was this and that. I mean, it's nasty. But that's always, any time you find one of these female monsters out there, the go-to is to always circle back into blame. And it's crazy to watch. Heather, also thanks for the additional 2. Diddy's a monster. Go the way of Epstein. Yeah, I wonder if the allegations about him are true, about the kids and other stuff. Again, I'm not saying they are. If they are, though, what that means is that he has clientele. And if he's in a position of prominence, you have to wonder what'll happen to him. You really do. You have to wonder how that goes. Shannon O'Brien Chronicles, thanks for the 2. Hashtag Diddy done did it. Did done it. That's it. Indeed. He did. I mean, it's undeniable there. And Sandra D, thank you for the gifted membership there too. Thank you, Sandra D. Appreciate you, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, I think, like I said, the Diddy stuff's just going to get crazier from here. I'm going to see it play out. And it's going to be, I think some of it's going to shock people, because the persona that was built, it's so much worse. You know what's really bad? There's a clip from one of his movie, you know, where he made a guest appearance, and he's actually chasing a couple of guys down a hallway. You know, he's going to beat them up, and people were talking about, you know, when you go back and you look at this, that's actually, it's quite horrible. You know, going back and seeing it. Here it is. This is the clip people have been bringing up. So check this out too. I was like, man, you know, in retrospect, that is kind of messed up. Give me 1 minute. Here you go. So in this movie, I mean, wait, let me mute that. Sorry. I mean, to mute it, it doesn't matter if there's, you know, you have him. He's chasing Russell Brand, dude, down the hallway. You know what's crazy is every guy in this has been, you know, again, we have one person for sure. That is, ugh. Then we had, now we saw the allegations here. I just, And the Russell Brand, again, if they want to accuse him, the articles that came out on Brand, they were not the thing that they were framed to. But isn't it fascinating that everyone in that, they've either been accused or they've done something? I mean, that's just like when you look at it, though, like going back, that's just, it's horrifying when you think about the reality of what we saw. And then you see this, I mean, again, it takes on such a sinister feel after that evidence. But anyway, all right, well, I'm going to end here. I think this is a good place to stop. Oh. The Russell thing is still a thing. I mean, we went to court for the stuff, or was it dropped? Now, essentially what you had happen was it was quote-unquote investigated. Nothing happened there, but in the UK, it didn't matter. He was still, there were actions taken against him, despite the fact that there was nothing taken to court. He had actions, and what I mean, there weren't police actions, but you had censorship actions. He wasn't allowed to go out and defend himself because the people that spoke were already quote-unquote victims. You had every platform written, and those platforms were essentially, you know, they were being told that, yeah, you don't need to let him monetize this or have a voice. He should not be able to answer any of these claims or to talk about that in any way, shape, or form. And that's, to me, that's wild. I mean, because what happens there is essentially, like, people like myself or yourself, if we ask questions, again, I'm like, I watched what was put out about him, and the items that they shared didn't match up with the narrative that they were putting out. You know, they would redact almost all of the information, and they were saying things like, "Oh, well, this person they went to a crisis care center because of, you know, the implication there." But really what it was about getting checked for STDs because of unprotected sex. Much different thing. But anyway, yeah, that's the damage has been done and nothing else has come up. But let's end this. I'm going to end with a song. Since we were talking about Diddy, I think we're going to do the Notorious TUG. You know, that's the picture here. Check it out.
Flashing beats in my whip on your boulevard. Watching the Pillsbury Lorenz flash, trying to act hard. Talk trash like you wanna step to me. A player, baby, you ain't even an NPC. It's that umbrella guy, dropping all the bass, sold in the slug, saying you can keep this epic pace. Thinking you can trade rounds and make a stand. You fuck me, you clown, eating my verbal backhand. It's that umbrella guy, coming back for more. Dust off the platinum grill and even the score. Yeah, I'm standing here again, still wrecking liars. With my bass-driven verbal force amplified. You talk the bigger game until you got caught. Then you slink away knowing that you bought just a parasite caught in my epic fall. Pretending you were a man just a second ago. Why you wanna pretend? Acting like a player when you're just a faux backbone. Step into this real mic slayer. Pretending that you represent free speech. When bankrupt morality is all that you preach. A Netflix crew wants to tell you, please. Life itself seems to have found you, saying you have Hollywood connections. While eating my table scraps, praying for a career resurrection. Keep blogging, saying crowds adore you, when even your 3 readers tend to ignore you. A crowd pretending you're a mic wrecker. A lawyer with the skills of a grocery checker. Clean up on aisle 3, it's that umbrella guy. Preaching what's true to a mic wreck, quasi-intellectual threatening the suit.